Hi, welcome to What's the Word? I'm your host, Jaime McFaden, and I'm so excited to have you here. This podcast is about all things wellness. Each week, we will focus on a word of the day, and I interview some of the most inspirational people I know and share that inspiration with you. Join me, let's learn together on What's the Word.
This is the place where I belong.
Hi, and welcome to What's the Word? I'm your host, Jaime McFaden, and this podcast is about all things wellness. Each week, we pick a word of the day, and I interview the most inspirational people I know and share that inspiration with you. Today, I am so excited to have Sassoon here. She is entrepreneur, super mama. She is the daughter of the late, great Vidal Sassoon. She has so much to offer this world, and I am truly feel like I am blessed to have you here. Eden, you chose the word curiosity, which means a strong desire to know or learn something. So can you share with us today, why'd you pick that word?
Yes, Jamie, and thank you for having me. And we're both in our blue. I love it.
Our blue.
Who knew? I have a best friend, Michelle, who works with me. She's somewhat of a coach and we do meditations, but she's my best friend. Let's be real. And she's always saying, Eden, get curious. She's talking to my brain and she's like, get curious, question, get curious, question. I'm like, shit, she's pushing me deeper. She's pushing me harder. She's asking me. And so the minute I start to get curious, the emotion from whatever it is goes away. And the thought starts to, things open, it shifts. There's not an attachment to it. It changes the whole game. So when this started happening without me having control of it, which was the best part, it was like the freedom to get curious. Oh my God, you have no idea what could manifest at that moment. And it really sort of took myself out of the game, my humanness and that sticky part of feeling and whatever else we want to call it. And I was able to just be this sort of light, kind of spinning around and getting curious and seeing things in a different light and questioning about it and the what ifs. And I mean, from that place, anything's possible.
I love that. I love that so much. And I love that word. And I look at my daughter who's 4 and she's curious about everything, right? And I think that there's so much value I learn from her every day with that, right? Because she's like, oh, look at this leaf. And she's creating a whole story. And I'm like, come on, we got to go. Hurry up, put your shoes on. But in reality, she's got it together. And so, with that word that you chose, and I want to dive in to really, you have such an incredible story in so many different ways. And you now have you're taking your story and you're using your story, the good, the light, the dark, all of it, to share with the world your gift, your miracle that you are, to help others live better. And so right now, when it comes to curiosity, like, what are you diving into in your own world that's keeping you curious right now? Like, what are you excited about right now?
I'm everything, because coming, post this traumatic time or it's actually been a time for me to level off the game, because I very much was curious about what if I didn't have all this stuff? What if I didn't have these businesses? What if I was like a monk that got to sit under the tree and really meditate and then just contemplate life? And again, be careful what you ask for, but in a beautiful way, this last year has, for the most part, done that for me. It's taken it all away, and I'm okay with it. I am okay that things change. And so what's my curiosity about that? That leaves my playing field completely open to, of course, my past, which I is not existent, but it makes me up some of who I am today and the choices that I make, to where, all right, what does this look like right now? Like, during this time, I wanted to change my body. I'm 47 years old. I wanted to change it again. My metabolism slowed down. So I have gotten more curious about that. What don't I know, which is a lot? How much, what fitness is going to really work. And I've lost, close to 15, 16 pounds, which everyone's like, well, where was it? I'm like, I'm going to show you soon. All the photos I have, and what did I do? And now I'm at another curious point. Okay, so I've lost this weight, but I'm older, and we lose muscle mass. All right, well, my butt was nice and this, and now I'm curious, why is it, more like this? What am I going to do about it? And make that choice. Curious about even from my kids being home all the time to them being teens and growing up to pushing me away a little bit. Okay, what am I doing to set this off? Or is it really just their hormones and everything changing and my son needs space from me? But how am I responding to that in a way that is shifting our relationship? Could I be doing something different to leave more space to make us closer? Everything. Why am I single at 47 still and sober 8.5 years? What am I not putting out there? Or what am I not being more vulnerable with? How can I open those eyes to, is this what you want? Who is what you want? Are you making poor choices in the people you spend your time with when it comes to opposite sex? Everything, honestly, everything.
I love it. You just really tapped. It is true. To anyone that's listening or watching this right now, it is true, because for all of us, we have all these different areas of life, right? And we could look at, you could look at someone like you online, and you're so beautiful, and you've been on TV, and your dad's the most famous person in the hair industry, and you have many, 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 many businesses, it looks like, I think. And you also help, inspire other women, and you have 2 children that are teenagers. Like, how do you keep it all together?
Yeah, I love you. So I had 3 businesses. I had them. I sold the salon, thank God, before COVID, because I was 43 and I came back from a trip and I realized, what am I doing? Am I happy? Right. I was curious about what I really felt, and was this driving me further? And was this the true Eden? Did I fall into this because of circumstances and partly being my father's daughter. And so this felt right at the time, but where am I now? And so I sold the salon. I had both of these Pilates studios, which I love, love, love Pilates, and will continue to pay it forward. But mixing business and pleasure, or which is what I like to do, but the business side of it doesn't ring true to my nature. I want to just be there for people. I want to just help guide them. I want to hold their hand. I want to send them to the people that I love that are considered experts in their field, because I've probably had a personal experience with them. So I'm sort of that person. So I started to question everything. And now I'm really in the vulnerable place of, all right, for a minute there, it was, I'm a mom. I'm going to take on that label, and I'm just going to be a mom. And I don't need this business to define me, and I don't need that business to define me. So what does just being a mom look like? And of course, I'm like, oh, this is a full-time job. Like, I could, right? I mean, I'm a part-time mom because they go back to and from dad's house. But, really, if that's all a woman does, where back in the day, I sort of was like, no, you can do everything. Like, I understand how that happens. Yeah. Because they're lucky if they get dinner on the table at night. I'm like, right. You've got two hands and feet, make it yourself. Depending on your definition of mom and family, they're going to get that. So I had to start to think about what that meant to me. So as far as doing it all now, everything's different to me, which is harder in some senses. And I don't mean harder in a negative way. I mean, it's more raw because it's new. The ideas, the questioning, the curiosity it lights up my life in a different way, because that wasn't enough. That wasn't doing it. And was I willing to continue to feel that way day after day because I had businesses, or, my name was on Sunset? Or no, because I mean, good and bad, we have this beautiful piece of technology that connects us, that lets us have these conversations, that lets me share my way or with people from all over the world. I don't need any of that, to still be able to authentically pay whatever it may be forward to others. And that's where I find my happiness is.
I love that. So tapping into that right now, to anyone that's listening and watching and or watching, what is kind of with everything that you've experienced in your life, with where you're at right now, what is the big message that you would want anyone that's, following you, listening to you, watching you, like, what is it? What's the big message you'd like to share with our world?
I mean, funny enough, because it's kind of happening as we speak, but sort of we're coming out of the tail end, is slow down. Slow down. Like I after I just sort of let all that out, I was like, whoa, take a breath, Eden. You know, breathe. Get in touch with that sense of get in touch. Get curious about it, because I found myself playing in the middle, and I'm using my hand. If you're in the middle of it, and your feelings are in the middle of it, and you're feeling all these things, and you don't even know what they are. But if you can stop and breathe and actually, like, I don't have a better word, and maybe you do, like, pull yourself out of it, and yet your human form is still in it, but you're not. And you can design what's going on in the middle of that. You can now look from up here and design it, and almost like the puppets, your little human body is a puppet to, like, your higher self.
Right.
And choose, be curious, make choices, be smart. What feels good? So really slow down and try to find what that looks like for you, because it took me 47 years just to find that little piece of nugget that has changed my life completely.
Wow. And with that being said, though, I mean, let's be real. From just the tiny little bit that I know, you've experienced a lot in your life. You've seen a lot. You've been in the limelight. You've been, I don't want to say like someone else, you were talking about puppet, but it's like you've had to probably do this and do that, and without having that time to slow down, right? Because that's kind of the trajectory you were on. And then now here you are, and you're giving back, which is the most beautiful thing that you can do, because every person, as you know, and you and I have talked about this, we're all miracles, and we're all having this human experience, but our souls are connected and we are one. And the more that we can tap into that, the more we can really, like, be better together and actually do those authentic things. So with that being said, there's something you tapped into that really hits home for me. So my father died of addiction when I was 18, right? And you had mentioned that your sister had passed away, and that you have been sober for eight and a half years. Yes. So to anyone that's listening, so a lot of my, viewers and listeners, they are either someone that at some point is going through a life change, or maybe they just went through a really tough time, or just lost someone, or they themselves maybe are going through, an addiction or something. Is there anything that you can share with us on that? Because I think being able to be vulnerable in that place, I can vividly remember, and even to this day, it's very, very hard when someone's in that frame of mind, that dark place, to even want to open up, or to, they're like, I don't know, can I ever get out of this? Whether it's depression, addiction, all of it, kind of anxiety, they all kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah. I'm so sorry about your loss. Your father.
You too.
And it's heavy. And thank you. Yes, being on all sides of the addiction coin. So I am the daughter of an alcoholic. I am the sister of an addict who overdosed. I am an recovering alcoholic myself. Whew, that even is powerful to just hear out loud, because how did I not, how did I become an addict? Having a mother and a sister who you know what I mean? Like, I fell into it and I saw it. I watched it. I was, hey, I'm having fun and enjoying this ride until I didn't anymore. But the time that I lost, and of course we can't go back. I have it now, and I'm so grateful. And I think, for those that struggle, I really just came to a place. It was pretty much when my father passed away that I was done. I couldn't feel the feelings that I was not feeling anymore. How about that? I couldn't live so disattached, unless it's by design, because now
Right.
I get to create it. I get to be part of it. I get to truly feel it. My feelings weren't sort of going in the wind and spinning all over the place without me being part of it. And that's not easy. That is not easy to come through, to come through one day at a time, to get to find yourself and meet you for the first time at whatever age, but they say when we started, so I started drinking around 15. So I've been 15 my whole life until I was 40. And now I'm 47 and I'm still single because nobody taught me how to have those relationships, but yet I was able to, have these love affairs and married for 4 years, but all based around addiction, all in that mind frame, So I mean, when you're in it and you are struggling and it's heavy, the only thing I can say is to try to get out of the brain area, get out of the thoughts and the sickness and where it lives, and tap into that pain and that vulnerability and that heart space, and really breathe into it and really let it, like, oh, I'm gonna cry, let it open up and almost feel like you and I almost feel like it's ripping open from the inside, and just be willing to dive into that, because there lies the freedom of what this addiction, won't look like anymore. In that space of pain, you'll find the freedom, and it's the brain that keeps us connected to the illness and the oof. See the words just.
I just have to say to you, from me to you, I mean, that all, as heavy as it is, I think it's incredibly critical to open up about these conversations as much as we can, especially right now. I'm going to celebrate the heck out of you, because to know that that was your surroundings. And like, I know, like, my dad was my best friend. So it's not like, yeah, he had his demons, but it was like, he was my favorite human in the whole wide world. Right. I look at that, though, the fact that you are someone who has been able to actually get out of here, heal in here, and be able to come out on the other side to meet yourself. Like, let's just take a moment for that, because that is the best gift I think that you could give to the world as your legacy, to your kids, and just, of course, to yourself, and to anyone that's listening right now. Whatever it is, like, we're all going to go through shit, and I'm just going to say it, but we're all going to go through the tough times. And as my grandma would always say, the most beautiful flowers grow through the same dirt as all the other ones. So no matter what, just grow wherever you're planted. And, Eden, I have to ask you, like, what would you tell your 15-year-old self now with what you've learned and how you've grown?
Smile, play. It's okay. This too shall pass. Just better. Listen to yourself. Listen. Here, did you, Eden, did you hear yourself? And again, just slow down.
I love that.
And get curious. If that 15-year-old could get curious about all the things that I am doing right now in life, and just being present to this moment, God, who knows, what could be different today.
But it is so incredible just to be here with you right now. It's 2:30 in the afternoon, and I'm having this great conversation with you, who we met on Clubhouse, of all random places. And I love you too. I feel like a spiritual connection to you just right out the gate. And that's why I'm like, okay, that's why we met. We met to help connect our worlds together, to help. Like, my goal is, by the end of this year, I want to inspire well over 1 million different families to have, just even if it's a 1% incremental health change within their house. Because as you know, this is where it all starts in the house. Whatever, mommy, daddy, or whatever everybody's doing, this is where it begins. So if we can start to shed light on some of the darkness and say, okay, this is reality. It's not all, oh, it's so pretty. We're not always camera ready, right? It's not a dress rehearsal, but we have to sometimes go through that in order to be able to share these stories. So I honor you. I feel so blessed
what you do is so important, and I know, well, I'm telling you, and you know this, but what you do is so important, and the more I learn and meet you and we'll talk, however I can be of service in helping you reach your goal, I will, because that to me is so important as well. And if I can be a part of your goal and changing people's lives, just reach out, just holler, just however, whatever that looks like, I'm in 100%.
Oh, I want to give you like the biggest hug right now.
I do. I give really good hugs too. So when I see you,
Okay, well, that's happening soon. I will be down there soon, and
you're in LA, right?
I'm in San Francisco, but I'm in LA. I mean, I used to be there. I used to live there, and then now I'm up here. So I have a big old Greek family, and we all live here. So once I had my daughter, and I knew that I was going to be single mom, God bless my family and my yaya, and everybody's like, we'll help with Sophia. So yeah.
Oh my, how weird. So I just got off a Instagram live, and he gave me two names, and he said Lima or Sophia, and I said, oh, I love them both, but I'm going to say Sophia because I wanted to name my daughter Sophia, but I didn't. I named her Olivia. And your daughter Sophia, and his daughter's middle name is Sophia. Beautiful.
And I love Olivia too. Beautiful name.
How
old is Olivia?
Wait, but hold on. Exactly. She's now going to be 16 in May. And she said, Mom, can you take me to the courthouse? And I'm like, she's like, Dad and I have an appointment. I'm like, for what? She said, I'm changing my name to Liv. I'm like, what? Okay, sure, I will. I really worked hard on that name. Like, I loved Olivia, you know? And then not only she said, I'm changing my name to Liv, she goes, so I go, so what's your name? She's like, Liv Sassoon DeVito. I go, so you took out your middle name, which was my sister's name, who passed away in 2002. I'm like, oh my God.
Oh my God. Wait, did you say she's 16?
Yeah, she's a piece of work. There you go.
Well, I have to say I was 16 once, and there is not a day that goes by now that I look at my mother. I'm 35 now, and I look at my mother and I go, Mom, I'm sorry.
Thank you for saying that, because wow.
Yeah, I will be honest, I was a piece of work to my poor mother.
Were you?
Yeah. So, but we're best friends. And so
see, I love that.
Yeah. So I think that like the only reason I'm even saying that to you right now is like any of my clients, I train a lot of mom and daughter crews, and a lot of the times when they hit the like 14 to 16, I feel like it's the toughest usually, where like I think it's the hormones and the
and of course, you know, me being 47, and obviously you know how much I love, this is a little exercise. The girl doesn't work out a day in her life. Okay. She is like this tall, it's one of those tall, skinny, like a bone's going to break type thing. So she's been complaining about her hips for years. I take her to the doctor. They do an MRI last week. We get to his office. I'm like, Doc, like what's going on? And he's like looking and, a little bursitis. And he looks at her and he's feeling around. And he's like, I think you need just some strength in your core. And I'm like, yes. And he's like, so either, you know, I know you can do Pilates with your mom. I'm like, are you kidding? Can you put her in physical therapy? He's like, yep, 3 days a week for 3 months minimum. And I'm like, oh my God, this could be the best day of my life.
Right.
She has to do Pilates 3 days a week for the next 3 months. I'm like, oh my God.
Wow. But you know what? It's good that I will say, because I remember if my mom would have told me something when I was 16, I'm like, Mom, you're lame. You know, I wouldn't have said it that nice, but yeah, I would have been like, yeah, F off, Mom.
I want to have like you as a train me and my daughter, and you know, like be with mother daughters or.
Well, so that's kind of like it. Yeah, one of these days when I'm down there, I would be honored to come and hang with you guys. And because my approach is just let's make it fun. It's not, there's no stress. There's like, you know, it's fun. We laugh our asses off. We pee our pants because we're laughing so hard, but then we're strengthening our core and everything else. So there we go.
Oh my, good for you.
Okay.
Amy.
And so now to our listeners, as we talk about the word curious and, you know, sharing some of these real truths about life that we, you know, may or may not go through. But the experiences do shape us, I think, in many ways to who we are. Right. And you had mentioned about slowing down. And I think, of course, for most of us, if not all, this last year has kind of forced us to. For me in my life, in many ways, it's interesting. You remind me of a few very close friends of mine, and I don't know when your birthday is, but
June.
Gemini.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's interesting
Yours?
because I think I'm November. I'm a Scorpio, and I feel like I'm like the deepest deep. I'm just sensitive. Like in a I used to be like, oh, I shouldn't be so sensitive. Now I'm like, oh no, it's my superpower.
Yeah.
But what I love that you just tapped into is, you know, I think about all my Geminis in my life, and it's like for them to slow down, because they're everybody's best friend. They're always doing this. They're always doing that. They're go. It's like, hurry up, the train's going. If you're not on, like the party's here, let's keep going, you know, all that stuff. But really, I mean, you are such a leader. You are such a leader. And to hear you say the words that, you know, how important it is for you to slow down, to remember to get curious, to rewrite, you know, or unlearn, or whatever it may be, your own life. I think that's the message. I think that's the message of being curious, is that it doesn't have to be one way or the other. So is there anything that, because we're going to wrap up soon, is there anything else that you want to share just in general about whatever's resonating with you? I like to kind of open the floor a little bit, just if there's anything that's on your mind now.
Wait, that's funny you said mind, but yes, as you were speaking, for some reason it came up strong, is this idea of the mind. Like, we are just tapping into, as a whole, more of this mind. And this mind is capable of so many things that we have no idea about, even to just behavior, to the way our body functions, to the thought that you have and to what it can create, or the living in the past. And they're all just these thoughts and memories where if you just shut that down and be present, you know, it shifts to even on a cellular level. That I think getting curious is obviously part of it, is how we opened this, and it changes the whole dynamic of what's happening now when you get curious about it, as opposed to sitting in it. So the mind is so powerful that if you have any curiosity of what that looks like, and where to go or think, or even like the Joe Dispenzas or the Dr. Amens, or start to get curious about your mind, about people's minds, about why this is happening. Because I'm telling you, we unconsciously do things, and it's our mind, just habits. And once you can tap into that, and you start to live in the matrix and start designing your life, whoa, next level.
Next level.
Level.
I got chills because it is so true. Today I was wearing a shirt earlier, and it said 86,400, and that's the amount of seconds that we have every single day. And I
didn't even know that. Thank you.
I used to always want to get that tattooed right here, just as the reminder, because sometimes I would get in my head of, you know, we get in our heads. So just having that moment, okay, we have 70,000 plus thoughts a day, like, and all those thoughts, a lot of them are reoccurring thoughts. So
I was going to say, they all can be new. Right. Yeah.
Right. So it's like, how do we tap into that? And how can we make these changes? You are living proof in many ways of how to be that change. And my tagline in my business is lead by example. And so therefore, you know, interviewing someone like you right now on my podcast today, I'm like, this is why we're here. This is our gift. And I'm just so honored, like I said, to have you, but also to connect with you on this way. Like, it's not just the blue that we're wearing.
I know how it's so random, but not.
I know,
right?
I know. It's just so great. Well, like I said, I honor you. I can't wait to connect with you more. Where would you want, for any of my viewers and listeners, where is the best way to connect with you, or to follow what you're doing, or to be a part of, you know, whatever movements you're starting, or your Pilates, anything? Like, where's the number one place you want people to find you?
I mean, my Instagram at Sassoon is really sort of my life, and from that space we can veer off into all these other spaces. And I share places, I share things, but sometimes that's something to get curious about. You know, you'll get the wealth. Like, you will always be on there, you know, like I pay it forward. I constantly am like, something hits me, well, I'm going to share, you know? So it's by all means, it's not just me. No, there's a wealth of knowledge that I try to provide for people to get curious, because I found it. So, hey, look, guess what? This is something that could change your life. Who knows? I don't know, but you, thank God that how we connected. Did I reach out to you? Did I say something or?
Yeah, I think you said something after my Clubhouse, and then we chatted, and then here we are.
Yeah, because you hit me on levels, and I don't shut that down now. I'm like, no, I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna make a comment. I'm gonna say thank you. Yeah, just being grateful.
I love that. Well, and I think that's such a big thing too, because I think especially for, myself coming from a family with addiction, and there's a level of avoidance and codependency, right? And learning how to let that go, but also allow the feelings to happen. So I love that.
And
yeah.
So
and a quick note on that, because I just really quickly, because when you said avoidance and learning how to let that go, like I find myself, and granted it's years later, but don't take time in that brain of yours to let it go, because at that point you're not going to. You're going to continue to think about, how am I going to let this go, and what am I letting go, and no, just let it go and step into what you have no ideas out there. Step into it. Write the letter. Reach out to him. Tell the person you love him. I don't know what it looks like to what it is, but do it. Just do it. Best slogan ever. Just, excuse my language, do it.
No, it's so great, because it's true. Even, and that's the thing, is we are all, like I said, I believe we're all connected. So like my favorite author is Gary Zukav. And so I just reached out to him and I was like, I want you on my podcast. And he wrote, and he goes like, okay, and he has a new book coming out. And so, but the fear-based me would have gone, oh, I don't know if I should reach out. Well, it's like, no, just go. Just do it.
Yes.
Love it.
I love
Stay
you.
curious.
Just do it. So now, before we wrap up, I do a speed round. So this is for tapping into your subconscious brain.
Okay.
Do it. Super easy, super simple. First thing that comes to mind, pizza or tacos?
Pizza.
If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Holy moly. Superpower, what would it be? I mean, I want to be able to be everywhere and nowhere at the same time.
Oh, wow. Okay. And if you could go anywhere right now, where would you go?
I just want to go to like Bora Bora, Maldives. I want to be on a hut over the water, just sitting in that space.
Oh, I love that so much. It's beautiful. Okay, your go-to karaoke song.
Holy moly, I'm the worst singer in the world, but I would probably, honestly, I don't know. I don't sing. I sing what comes off the top of my head.
How about a song or an artist that gets you on the dance floor?
Oh God, that's not hard. Although I don't dance that well. I mean, how about like my favorite song growing up as a kid was "Man in the Mirror" by Michael Jackson.
Mine too.
Yeah,
mine too.
I was sitting in front of the TV and cry. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I still cry when I listen to it, and I still listen to it all the time.
Me too.
Well, because it's all about reflection and facing
it.
And you're deeper.
Yeah. So those of you that haven't heard it in a while, play it.
Yeah, we're gonna have to play that song. So we will do an IG live when this comes out, and we will play that song, and we'll talk about it. So, is that your puppy?
Which one is it? That's Winston and Gracie.
Oh, hi Winston. Oh, cute.
He's giving you the eye.
Hi Winston. I hope I get to see you soon.
Okay, so Eden, you are such a beautiful, beautiful human, beautiful soul. I thank you so much.
You are. And one day, if you don't mind, I'm going to ask of you to come on my Amazon Live, and I'm going to do this. We're going to switch the tables here, and we're going to have an amazing conversation, just because you are, honestly, you're incredible, and you are inspiring to me. And that to me says everything. Like, when they say raise your bar, like you do that for me. So thank you.
Well, so thank you so much. One of my friends calls it the energy angels. We have the energy vampires and the energy angels. So I want to be your energy angel.
And thank you for being mine.
You're welcome. And thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Okay, well, I'm sending you all the love. Everyone, be sure to check out Eden's page. We'll send up her links and everything so you can get in touch with her. But thank you, Eden. You are just absolutely incredible.
And make sure you thank Louie over there, because he needs a lot of love from me too. And you guys,
thank you, Lou.
You rock. You just keep doing.
Just do it.
Thank you for joining me here at What's the Word. Follow us on social media with the links on the screen, and don't forget to like and share with your friend. Your support helps us grow and continue to make inspirational content. See you next time on What's the Word.